dear. But I think that the social media mindset and the modern mindset is, why can't I? There's an inner confidence which I think is prevalent now that I haven't seen previously. And I speak to young business people who are doing supremely well, and they've got a really good attitude about it. They talk to each other, they learn from each other. It really marks, that they're ready to learn, and if they don't win a contract or they're unsuccessful in something, they brush it aside. They don't dwell on it.
Yeah.
They crack on. They speak to people. They collaborate. They work with each other, and they think, well, how can we do this together? And it's really refreshing to see minds collaborating and working together over just a cup of coffee, over just and sometimes, oftentimes, I suppose, it comes to nothing. But there's just these little seeds always being planted, and I think that's the entrepreneurial mindset that pervades, that I see at the moment, especially in young business leaders, say young, 20s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah. What is quite interesting that I found, with Bristol, they seem to take a different perspective. So they seem to think that as soon as you've left university, shouldn't necessarily be promoted that they should be entrepreneurial. They should go away, get experience, and then come back when they're 40.
Yeah.
So they have the perspective where they're quite cautious of encouraging young minds to be entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
So this is one of the themes that are coming up.
Yeah. Maybe it's a cultural aspect of Wales.
I thought maybe it's historical. Because, Bristol has, a long history of being entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Whereas Cardiff has really set itself apart from the valleys and the remaining areas.
Yeah. Well, you say that about Cardiff. You look at Cardiff 100 years ago.
Yeah.
The entrepreneurial spirit of the iron and steel workers, the coal workers, the builders.
Yeah.
The industrialists. I think there's an entrepreneurial spirit, hub, cauldron, a charcoal which has been growing for decades in Cardiff. And first £1 million cheque in the world was signed here in Cardiff.
Yeah.
In the coal exchange. So I think there is an entrepreneurial spirit in Wales. I think there's a desire to, and maybe it's a renewed confidence of a nation that's resurging and that's making its own decisions. That it has its own parliament.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a cultural mindset. 20, 30 years ago, there was Catatonia and Stereophonics and Super Furry Animals and Cool Cymru.
Yeah.
Wales is a happening place, and we've got to be really cautious that we continue that atmosphere.
Yeah.
Which is why sometimes I get frustrated that we're not quick enough on getting the M4 sorted. We're not quick enough on making a decision on Tidal Lagoon.
I think that's shared from people I've spoken to, especially entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They are very frustrated by transport.
Yeah, I think transport is. I think transport. We've got it all going for us. You can be in the beautiful Brecon Beacons countryside for breakfast, walking. You can be down in Cardiff Bay. At night or in Mumbles in the evening. There's so much that we can do it around. The transport infrastructure is really important. But it's a lifestyle. Why wouldn't more entrepreneurs want to relocate in Wales? Why wouldn't you come here with the beauty and the surroundings? And at the end of the day, we're all people. So, arguably, do it in London because it's hubby and there's lots of things going on, but there's lots of things going on here as well. So transport infrastructure, I think, is a really important one. I'm rambling now a bit, aren't I?
No, don't worry. Everyone shares the same view. Yeah. Some people got very passionate about
I wanted to be innovative and
Yeah.
fresh perspective, but never mind.
One of the next questions really is, do you believe that entrepreneurship is generally considered to be an achievable aspiration or option for those living and working in Cardiff?
Yes, without doubt.
Yeah.
But sometimes it might not necessarily be understood or labelled as such.
Yeah.
And I think, does that really matter? I don't think it really matters. I don't think it matters whether you perceive yourself as an entrepreneur. Sometimes, you see, if ever I go to everything and I'm an entrepreneur, I think it's a little bit...
Yeah, it is.
It's a bit sort
Faddy.
of... Yeah, yes, yeah. But, if I'm... So the true entrepreneurs I see speaking aren't really entrepreneurs. Well,
they don't believe
they're entrepreneurs. Yeah. So I think that I would turn it around and say people can be successful, innovative business people.
Yeah.
And it's that spirit, that mindset, that entrepreneurial mindset. which comes to the fore. And I think, it's great that we've got entrepreneurs. In Wales, we've got one of the biggest entrepreneurs around, Sir Terry Matthews.
Yeah.
Multi-billionaire. From Celtic.
Yeah, I was wondering if I'd spoken to him or not, but I haven't, no.
Yeah, so
yeah.
He's an entrepreneur. But I don't think he ever saying, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businessman, I do this, I do that. He's a very confident person. So I think it's confidence in their business ability, confident in your ideas, confident in your willingness to collaborate, your willingness to seek advice, your willingness to have a fixed goal as to what you want to achieve, and doing everything you possibly can to drive it forward. I went to an event recently, and somebody asked a question. A businesswoman was speaking, and they asked the question, how did you get the money? I was access to finance. We find it a little bit difficult getting investors to get 50,000. He said, I sold my car, and I sold my sofa, and I sold my table just to get some money to pay it. I mean, worked upstairs. Confidence in your own. I do think sometimes there's an expectation that great riches, great success, and great wealth will come immediately. Yeah. Why aren't people taking up my terrific idea? Why isn't it doing amazingly well? And I'm sitting back and waiting for somebody to invest in me. I think that if you start to label yourself as an entrepreneur, and in the hope that somebody will come and take it from you and take it to the next level, and you'll sit back in your yacht in Marbella, I think that's. I do see that sometimes.
No, I agree.
I do see that sort of, this is my idea. It's amazing. Why aren't people
coming to me?
I think to be an entrepreneur is the tip of the iceberg, the label. What's below there is the business, dogged determination, the drive, the persistence, the enthusiasm, the doing everything you possibly can to make your idea succeed. To recognise that it might take you 4 or 5 years for it to get to where you want it to be, but it's the 12-hour days. It's the sleepless nights. It's the constant work. It's the begging, the borrowing, and not stealing, but it's the begging and the borrowing. It's working in your mum's front room for a couple of years because you can't afford a premises. And I think, it's success doesn't come overnight, and I think there needs to be a recognition. Sometimes I feel that we can't just say, yes, you're an entrepreneur now, and the world will come to you, and it's going to be amazing, and you'll be hugely successful. I think that we perhaps need to communicate, and which is why I think Peter Spark is really sensible, because it does put these things in the mix. I think we could do it more. But it's a balance, because you don't want to put people off. You want entrepreneurial spirit, you want enthusiasm, but you don't want to say, well, look, entrepreneurial success is very hard, and you have to put the time, effort, energy into it. So I think, it's all about a labelling of entrepreneurialism. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business person, but behind that is real tough, hard persistence, and all the work you can possibly do.
There does seem to be a curiosity from the people I've spoken to that now that there's going to be less access to finance, that it means that entrepreneurs, the ones that triumph and really go for it, are the ones that are in it for the long term.
Well, I've done a report on access to finance, and the perception that there will be less access to finance, I think potentially is a fallacy. A little bit of a fallacy. Because if you've got a great idea, and if you've got a business plan, and if you've worked hard, and you've got orders in the pipeline, and you've got a 5-year projection, and you've got your profit and loss, you've got your sales projections, and you've got testimonials who work with you, and you've saved up 10 grand. It's all about putting your ducks in a row to get access to finance. What I do see is, this is my widget. That recording, sorry. This is my widget. I want £50,000, please.
This is what.
Well, okay. Well, where's your business plan? Well, I haven't got it because look, it's a bottle that holds water. Well, okay. Where's your orders? Where's your pipeline? Where's your marketing plan? Well, I haven't got one because it's a bottle that holds water. So when you're accessing finance, you've got to get all your ducks in a row. You've got to be lending ready. They say, well, how much are you putting into